Hello and welcome to the second part of our Vine Weevil IPM planning. Today, Andrew Wilson will be going through our Vine Weevil Seeka nematode range and talking about how to apply post-picture applications. Andrew.
Welcome to the webinar. My name is Andrew Wilson. I'm the Technical Manager for ICL Professional Horticulture. I'm going to guide you through the Seeka nematode range, focusing on vine weevil control. So a few introductions. I'm going to explain about the Seeka range, tell you about nematodes, tell you about their life cycles, and most importantly, we're going to look at the application methods and the choice of the two different products that we have, and also the transporter adjuvant that we can use to help aid the delivery of them. So here's the range. We have a full range including vine weevil control as well as western flower thrip, but we're just going to talk about vine weevil today. The picture product, we've mentioned eggs, control of the eggs. Now we're going to focus on vine weevil larvae with the Seeka nematode range. Now, what is a nematode? It's a multicellular species, but there's possibly up to 1 million of them. Only 20,000 have been classified. So the ICL Seeka range is produced in large-scale bioreactors by BASF, and we try and create the ideal conditions to get the best and most healthy nematodes that we can use. And they have lots of nutrients and oxygen provided to them, to really breed them up. And once they're harvested, they separate the infective juveniles from the other life stages, and then they're formulated into a final product with a gel carrier, which allows for storage and dispersal of, particularly well in the water when you apply them. And this is the situation at BASF. They're down in Littlehampton. They're one of the early pioneers of nematodes, and they really have a high quality production process where at every stage they're checking the quality of the nematodes they're producing, so that when they're dispatched, the count you get of nematodes is guaranteed, and that's a real good start when you're applying nematodes, to know that you've got a good quality product to start with. And we take advantage of the nematode life cycle when we're looking at controlling the larval stage of vine weevil. So if we look at the chart here at about 2 o'clock, you see the vine weevil grub there within the growing media, and if you apply infected juvenile nematodes, they will rapidly seek the vine weevil larvae and enter through natural openings in the larvae, and they quickly get inside, and then they start to release symbiotic bacteria, depending on the species, and the nematodes rapidly grow and become adults within the pupa, which is now a cadaver. It's just there to support the life of the nematodes, and the nematodes will thrive in that situation, and they'll have 2 or 3 generations, and when they get to the final stage, the infected juveniles, they start to run out of food, and they start to escape from the host and spread out into the growing media, and then they can infect more larvae again, and the life cycle starts. So this is important for the control of this stage of the vine weevil. Now here we can see a generalized vine weevil life cycle, and obviously there's different stages: egg, larva, pupa, and adults. We've already mentioned picture attacking the egg stage. Now we're looking at controlling the larval stage, and this is generalized. The larvae can be present at all stages of the year, particularly if you have protected cropping. So you need to monitor your crops and look at when the adults are laying eggs, and really monitor so that you're sure that you're applying the larvae so the nematodes at the right time, because the nematodes need a food source, and that's the larvae. So if they're present, you'll get successful control. Now they're a living organism, so storage is really important. So they're carefully sent out in the post, in refrigerated packs. As soon as you receive them, you take them out of the pack and immediately put them in a fridge. and you don't want to split packs or divide packs. If you open a pack, you want to use it straight away. And just a tip, don't put them in the freezer. It's a good way of killing them. So why use nematodes? Well, I mean, they're organic and they can be used as part of an IPM program. They're very safe to the environment, and they'll survive for up to 4 weeks in the growing media or the soil. And because they're very specific, there's no pest resistance problems, and they give a very high level of control at the right temperatures. And we'll talk more about that later. They're easy to apply as a drench or through the irrigation system, and it can really protect the root system and avoid damage and loss to plants. And it's particularly in container grown plants. And we all know the plants that are very susceptible. Some of the herbaceous plants are very susceptible, things like heucheras and things like that. So if you can treat the larvae and control them, you're not only going to protect the roots, but you're also going to save the damage to the leaves caused by the adults, because you're going to break the life cycle. And this is the key to biological control, is breaking the life cycle. So we have 2 products within the range. We have Vine Weevil Seeka, which is based on the beneficial nematode Heterorhabditis bacteriophora, and this is a really good strong nematode. It works well between 12 degrees centigrade and 30 degrees. So this is where it's important when you're choosing. If you have an average of 12 degrees centigrade, you can start applying this product. We have some temperature loggers which can help you choose the right temperature to apply. So this would be a main season product. Once the temperatures are warm enough, you could use this product throughout the season. So the other product we have is Seeka CT for cold tolerance. It contains the beneficial nematode Steinernema krausei. This is particularly good for control between 5 degrees centigrade and 30 degrees centigrade. So this is a premium product that you can apply early or late in the season, to give control. And this can be very important in the spring. If you monitor your crops and you have larvae present, you need to control them before they emerge as adults and start causing more damage. So by applying early, you can control them before they emerge. If you have to wait till the temperatures get to 12 degrees centigrade to use the standard product, that they might have already transferred into adults and escaped. So some guidelines on the usage of nematodes. They're living organisms, so they need to be applied when the target pest is present. Don't apply in full sun, because nematodes are readily killed by UV light. So ideal conditions are humid, wet conditions, or applying in the evening when it's slightly cooler and the sun's gone down a bit. The majority of equipment is suitable for applying nematodes, whether it's spray tanks or whatever, but it's important that they're clean, particularly if you've been using pesticides. So it's important to use a tank cleaner to make sure they're clean before you start. Also, check them over and remove any fine filters that may be there below 50 microns, and look at the pressure. You don't want to be going above 20 bar, 300 psi, because you will damage the nematodes. And just ensure that the aperture of the nozzles you have is greater than 0.5 millimeters. If you use a medium or coarse spray nozzle, this should be fine. Some application methods. The delivery of the nematodes is really important. So you want to get them to the target pest as soon as possible. So you can really increase the performance by using, the transporter penetrant, which will deliver the nematodes safely to the target. We've developed this within-house at Amiga Sciences, and it's fully tested by BASF to be safe to nematodes. Right, temperature. I've already mentioned that temperature is very important to nematodes, and we've been supplying some temperature loggers to some of our growers so they can monitor temperatures coming up to the application periods. And this is a sample temperature from last summer, and we can see that in the end of August and into early September, the temperatures were averaging around 12 degrees, and this would be ideal for applying either of the nematode products. The standard product would be fine, and but as the season goes on and it gets cooler, that would be the time to apply the cold tolerance product. And you can just see there a bit more closely. There's some quite peaks in temperatures, but the averages are quite stable, and they're gradually dropping through the season. So ways you can apply, a common way is a knapsack or a pump sprayer. In all cases, you want to pre-mix the nematodes to make a stock solution, typically in a 10-litre container. And the importance here is to ensure that the nematodes are fully dispersed, within the stock tank, so that we don't have lumps or whatever. So it's important to fully agitate it and ensure they're fully mixed before you start. Once you have them adequately mixed, you then take a fraction from the stock solution and add it to the tank and fill up with water to the required level. There's lots of instructions on the product label about doing this, and we've got some videos as well. So I won't go into too much detail now, but our team is able to advise on this. But I stress there, ensure the diluted product remains agitated throughout the application. It can be done manually. There's lots of pump systems and agitators you can fit to tanks, or even use air pumps to pump air through the tank. And then you repeat the applications until you've treated the whole area. And once you've applied, it's important to irrigate immediately to wash the nematodes into the growing media and ensure that they're off the foliage, so that you get the maximum efficacy there. You can use a dosing unit, and again, you'd make a stock solution in the same way. You need to do some calculations just to check the injection rate, the area to treat, and work out how many nematodes you need. But this is something that we can help with, and there's lots of information available. And again, apply to the whole area and then irrigate immediately after application. You can apply it through the irrigation. I mean, if you have even irrigation and you don't have gaps, obviously, if it can be quite wasteful if you're applying to roads and other areas. So just consider the area you're going to apply it to, and then make a stock solution in the normal way, and take a fraction and add to the tank that you're going to use it from. So it could be a bulk tank, or again, you could be using a diluter through the irrigation. Right, well, now we've explained how to apply Seeka. It's very important that we have an integrated strategy to control the vine weevil. And all stages of plants need to be protected. So if you're buying in plugs and liners, check that they've been treated by your supplier. If they haven't been, it's really important to drench with vine weevil Seeka to protect them and make sure you control any larvae that are present. You can currently use Exemptor when you're potting on, but from next season this won't be available. So we'll be talking in our third webinar about integrated solutions that you'll be able to use. But it's very important that you are monitoring your crops. You're looking for adults. You're looking to see when they're laying eggs, and you're also monitoring the growing media to see the amount of larvae present. And obviously, there's certain crops you're growing are very susceptible, so it's important to look at those and really check them. We can obviously help and give technical advice where needed. But one great tip, a lot of people have used nematodes in the past and not had great results, and one of the reasons has been application. And using transporter can really aid the dispersal of nematodes and get them to the target quickly. And that's been really important. And we've used this product a lot, and it's really helped with all sorts of substrates, whether it's peat-free or traditional peat-based growing media. It really spreads out the nematodes and ensures to get to the target quickly. It's a high-strength product, but it's very safe and it's been tested fully. Well, thank you for listening to the webinar. I hope you found it useful. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact your local ICL technical area sales manager, or myself, and we're happy to help.